That's right. From the NHL on Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada, and 31/32 Thoughts, the podcast. Here's Elliotte Friedman. What's good, Friedge? How are you, man?
I'm good, Tim. It's 32. It's a
Officially.
Mindset, Tim.
It's
a mindset.
It is
Yes.
a mindset.
The season starts. It's 32 now. It's a mindset.
I understand. And let's be honest. One extra thought can be tough.
I got to tell you, I'm writing it now. I want to get it done tonight.
Yeah.
I'm really regretting these last couple of expansions.
All right. Last week, I was saying that if you asked every market which Canadian team was under the most pressure, most would say their market. You heard Alex Doria roll through it. Which Canadian team, in your mind, is under the most pressure?
Toronto.
Yeah.
I do think it's Toronto this year. I think that. And I've been just talking to a couple of the players. Last week we spoke to Matthews and Marner at the tour. This week and just some other players and people around them I've talked to. I think they know that if the Maple Leafs don't, at least win a round, taste some level of success, and people can define how they want success in all sorts of different ways. But at least unless they get some sort of playoff success this year, there's going to be changes, and they're going to be on the ice and they're going to be off the ice. And everybody knows that. And one of the things that a couple of players have said is that, the organization has made a point of saying, like, we're not guaranteed a playoff berth here. I don't know how you handicap it, Tim, or people watching or listening handicap it, but I look at it as you've got Tampa, your playoff lock. You've got Detroit and Buffalo, who are not going to be in the playoffs. And then you've got 5 teams for 3 spots. It's Toronto, it's Florida, who I think is really good. Yep. It's Montreal, it's Ottawa. I mean, there's some good teams there in that division. I think it's 5 teams for 3 spots, and I think it's going to be a battle. And Boston, of course. I didn't even mention Boston.
I was just going to say, I don't know if these are your dad's Bruins, but they're still a pretty good team. I was pondering the landscape.
They're my older brother's Bruins.
They're your older brother's Bruins? Yeah. I was pondering the landscapes as camps open, and listen, I agree with you with the Leafs on the entire year. But are the unside RFAs the biggest story in the league right now?
Yeah, I think that and Eichel. For example, with Eichel, my guess is, he's going to go to camp. My bet, this is my personal opinion, Tim, on what happens is that he's going to fail his physical. And my guess is I wouldn't be surprised too if the Sabres also announce he's no longer the captain. And then we'll kind of see where we're going here. I think at some point in time, there's a lot of hard feelings here. And, someone said to me that, Eichel knows that right now he's probably not going to be healthy enough if he has surgery now to play in the Olympics. And that's really added another level of disappointment to all this. The Sabres are disappointed with how the whole Eichel era has turned out. He's disappointed with this whole situation, the fact that it may very well cost him a spot in the Olympics. The one thing I'm trying to figure out here is, do we get an agreement on what kind of procedure he's going to do? And I don't have clarity on that, but I expect he's going to fail the physical, and I expect they'll say he's no longer the captain, and then we'll see what else they're going to announce.
Well, that seems like just a tire fire to start. Do you feel like you could get some sort of answer outside? Like, do you trade him and then let another team figure out what they're going to do medically?
I think that's one of the things I was kind of expecting to happen in the summer.
Right.
Honestly, Tim, it's really hard to say. I think, I was told at the draft there were about around 15 teams that really were talking, and that number decreases. And I think, like I heard, even as recently as a couple weeks ago, I heard there were a couple teams looking at it. Now I think we're all going to wait and see what the Sabres announce here. Like, what do the doctors say when they see him? What do they see? I wish I had a better update for you. Yeah. I think this is the best I can tell you right now. I think he fails the physical. I think they take the C away. And and we see what happens medically here. It's very frustrating for everybody involved, for Eichel, the Sabres, everyone here. And I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't.
And the fans are probably more frustrated than both the team and the player. I'm not sure which brother lobbying was bigger news, Matthew Tkachuk on your podcast or Jack Hughes here on Tim and Friends. And it all might just be a part of the negotiations. But which one of those, Quinn, Hughes, or Brady Tkachuk is closer to finding a resolution?
That's a great question. Well, this is what I tell you about the two situations, I think. First of all, I think we have to understand that, the younger players today, I was talking about this with Drew Doughty. Like, from Doughty's era, there weren't a lot of guys like him, but the younger generation, they're pretty blind.
Yeah.
You ask them a question, you're going to get an answer. We put, Jack Hughes, you talked about that answer. We had him on the podcast too, and people were saying, wow, like, that guy is really honest. Like, there's no lying there.
Yeah.
And we all know how the Tkachuks are. Like, this is the way this generation is going to be, and everybody's going to have to deal with it. I think, to me, with Brady Tkachuk, I don't think that is that far away, in the sense of, like, just the pure numbers, right?
Right.
Like, I don't think in terms of a contract, the Senators and Tkachuk are that far. I think what the issues are is structure and potentially no trade protection throughout the deal. Like, Ottawa doesn't do really bonuses, and Tkachuk, I think, would probably want some bonuses, like a lot of stars get. Also I think also potentially trade protection is an issue there. The Hughes one with Vancouver, Hughes can't offer sheet, isn't arbitration eligible. The Canucks really have the hammer there. And the thing I've really heard, Tim, is that they have looked over, like, every possible deal with Hughes, every possible deal with him, like 1 year, like short-term, long-term, and they're not there. And what I've heard, and I've heard there's a little bit of a stalemate. I think the Canucks have kind of said, they've been talking every day. I really do think, both sides have really been grinding at this. And the thing I've heard about Pettersson and Hughes, and I could look like a total idiot in 10 minutes. They could announce it's all changed and they've made deals. But I just heard, the most recent thing I heard was that everybody here was kind of at a little bit of a stalemate, and we'll see what moves. Like, I don't think the start of training camp is really a big deal. I know the teams feel that way. I know the coaches feel that way. I don't feel that way. The players stay in good shape. They work hard during the summer. Like, nobody shows up like a broadcaster at the beginning of the season, Tim, 50 pounds overweight after downing 2-4s all summer.
Right.
They're ready to go. I think the players see it as their true leverage is the games. I don't think they worry as much about training camp as the teams do.
Yeah, I think the old days are gone where you use training camp to get in shape. These guys come to training camp in shape, ready to go. But there is some pressure in and around this country on a lot of GMs to get something done. And the one thing I'll say, Friedge, and we're running out of time here, is I think the Pacific Division may offer an opportunity for a few of those GMs to look a little better than they did last year in the North.
I agree with that. I think it's the most open division, Tim. Vegas, and then who you picking.
Right. Without a doubt. Friedge, always like catching up with you. Thanks for doing this. And you don't look like you've added 50 pounds in any way, shape, or form.
Someone just sent me a text saying, I can't see half your face. It's the best you've ever looked on television.
You do look a little Dark Knight-ish. Like, you almost look like, what's the opera where the guy has the Phantom of the Opera? You have a little Phantom of the Opera shade going on right now. And you haven't looked better. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Tim. Take care, guys. See you later, Jesse. Bye.